In my 30 years as a geriatric physician, I've discovered something fascinating. It's not luck or genes that determine if you'll live past 75. It's how you live during your golden decade between 65 and 75. Let me share a quick example. Alice, 86, still drives to weekly coffee dates and teaches painting, while John, 89, tends his garden daily and never misses his grandchildren's games. Their secret? Simple daily habits anyone can adopt. Before I reveal these life-changing insights from my thriving elderly patients, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your city in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe. It helps our community grow stronger. Now, let me share what really determines your fate after 75. 1. Your mind matters most. Let me tell you about Bob, one of my favorite patient stories. When I first met him at 65, he was convinced his life was basically over. Recently retired, living alone and struggling with high blood pressure, Bob would say, "Doc, I'm just waiting for my time." His health was declining rapidly, not because of any serious illness, but because his mind had already given up. Then something remarkable happened. Bob's daughter gave him a rescue dog, Max. At first, Bob complained about having to walk Max twice daily, but soon those walks became the highlight of his day. He started chatting with other dog owners at the park. He had to learn new technology to join a local pet owners group online. Most importantly, he had a reason to wake up excited every morning. Today, at 82, Bob's blood pressure is better than when I first met him. "Having Max changed my whole outlook," he tells me. "I stopped counting down my days and started making my days count." Bob's story teaches us something crucial. Your mind is your strongest medicine. I've seen this pattern repeatedly in my practice. Patients who maintain a positive outlook and stay mentally engaged live significantly longer than those who don't, regardless of their physical condition. Here's what I recommend to all my patients for keeping their minds sharp and spirits high. Start your day with purpose. It doesn't have to be grand. Maybe it's tending to your plants, calling a friend, or learning one new thing. Just like Bob had Max, find your reason to jump out of bed each morning. Stay socially connected. The longest living patients in my practice all have active social lives. Join a book club, volunteer at your local library, or simply schedule regular video calls with family. Your brain thrives on these connections. Challenge your mind gently. My patient Nancy, 78, started doing daily crosswords with her morning coffee. Another, David, 72, learns 3 new words in Spanish each day to keep up with his grandchildren. These small mental exercises make a huge difference. Most importantly, remember that stress is your biggest enemy. I'm not talking about the good stress that comes from learning new things or staying active. I mean the harmful stress of isolation and negative thinking. When you feel overwhelmed, take a step back. Practice simple breathing exercises, go for a walk, or call a friend. The beautiful thing about these habits is that they're free and anyone can start them at any time. Like Bob discovered, it's never too late to change your mindset and transform your health. 2. Keep moving, keep living. "Doctor, you won't believe what I did today." Sarah's voice was bubbling with excitement during our checkup. At 67, she had just completed her first 5K walk. But just 6 months earlier, she could barely make it to her mailbox without getting winded. Her transformation started with a simple decision, walking for just 10 minutes every morning. "I was terrified of falling at first," Sarah admits. "So I started by walking back and forth in my hallway, holding onto the wall. Then around my kitchen. Eventually, I made it to my driveway." Today, at 73, Sarah leads a walking group in her neighborhood and hasn't needed blood pressure medication in 3 years. Here's what I tell my patients. You don't need a gym membership or fancy equipment to keep moving. Start where you are. If Sarah could begin in her hallway, you can too. The key is finding movement that brings you joy. My most successful patients follow these simple movement habits. The 10-minute rule. Start with just 10 minutes of movement after breakfast. It could be gentle stretching, walking in place while watching TV, or dancing to your favorite music. Mary, 78, dances while doing dishes and says it's the highlight of her morning. Listen to your body's signals. If you feel dizzy, experience unusual shortness of breath, or have pain that lasts more than an hour after moving, that's your body asking you to slow down. Don't ignore these warnings, but don't let them stop you completely either. Make movement social. Join a gentle yoga class, walk with neighbors, or do chair exercises with friends over video chat. Tom, 71, met his new best friend at a senior swimming class. They now swim together 3 times a week and have coffee afterward. Find your movement anchors, link movement to daily activities. Stand up during TV commercials, walk while talking on the phone, do leg lifts while reading. These small movements add up tremendously over time. Remember, your body is designed to move. As my patient George, 84, loves to say, motion is lotion for these old joints. He started with 5 minutes of morning stretches and now tends his entire garden independently. The goal isn't to run marathons. It's to keep your independence and joy in daily activities. When you find movement you enjoy, it stops being exercise and becomes part of living fully. 3. Stay independent, stay strong. The day my children suggested I move to assisted living was the day I decided to get smarter about staying independent. That's what Martha, my 75-year-old patient, told me with a determined smile. Instead of giving up her beloved home of 40 years, she made simple but clever changes that transformed her ability to live independently. Today, at 81, Martha still hosts weekly dinner parties in her home. Her secret? I didn't need to change my whole life. I just needed to change how I did things. Let me share the practical strategies that help my most independent patients thrive while living alone. These aren't about grand renovations or expensive technology. They're about smart, simple adjustments anyone can make. First, let's talk about making your home work for you. Richard, 79, struggled with his 2-story house until he created what he calls his command center downstairs. He moved his bedroom to the former dining room and transformed his living room into a multi-purpose space. Now I only go upstairs when I want to, not because I have to, he says. Small changes make huge differences. Put frequently used items at waist level. Install motion sensor lights for nighttime bathroom trips. Use a grabber tool for reaching things. As my patient Joan says, it's not about aging. It's about being smart about how I use my energy. Managing finances independently is another crucial piece. Barbara, 77, simplified her life by setting up automatic bill payments and keeping one notebook where she tracks everything. I check it every morning with my coffee, she tells me. No stress, no forgotten bills, no problems. But here's what really matters. Staying independent doesn't mean doing everything alone. The most successful independent seniors I know have what I call their independence network. They have a handyman they trust, a neighbor who brings in their trash bins, and friends they check on daily. Take David, 83, who organized a neighborhood support system. He helps his neighbor with computer problems, while she waters his plants when needed. Another neighbor drives to the grocery store weekly and takes shopping lists from several seniors. They're not dependent, they're interdependent. Remember, staying independent means being smart about asking for help before you need it. As Martha says, I'm more independent now than ever because I learned to plan ahead instead of waiting for emergencies. 4. Eating for energy. Doctor, I never knew food could make me feel young again. That's what Helen, 72, told me during her last checkup. 3 months earlier, she'd been struggling with constant fatigue. Her solution wasn't expensive supplements or strict diets. It was simply changing when and how she ate. Now she has enough energy to keep up with her great-grandchildren. Let me share what really works when it comes to eating for energy after 65. Forget complicated diet plans. The healthiest seniors I know follow simple, enjoyable eating habits that make them feel good. Take Tom, for example. At 70, he was skipping breakfast and mainly eating one large dinner. "I wasn't hungry in the morning," he'd say. But when he started having a small breakfast, just yogurt with berries and a handful of nuts, his entire day changed. "Now I actually have energy to do things before noon," he laughs. Here's what my most energetic patients do. They eat their bigger meals earlier in the day. They keep frozen vegetables handy for quick, nutritious meals. Instead of strict portions, they use the simple divided plate rule. Half the plate for colorful vegetables, quarter for protein, quarter for whole grains. But here's what surprises most people. It's not just what you eat, it's how you eat. Margaret, 78, turned her solo dinners into social events by having weekly dinner dates over video chat with her sister. "Food tastes better when you're sharing it with someone," she says. Common mistakes? Drinking too little water, yes, coffee doesn't count, eating too close to bedtime, and the biggest one, trying to completely change everything at once. Start small. As my patient Bob says, "I just started adding one colorful food to each meal. Before I knew it, I was craving those bright foods." The best tip I can share? Make it easy and enjoyable. Keep cut-up fruit at eye level in your fridge. Store healthy snacks where you can reach them easily. Use a bright, cheerful plate. Yes, it actually makes a difference. Janet, 75, swears her polka dot dishes make her meals more fun. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. The goal isn't to follow a strict diet, it's to have the energy to enjoy your life. As Helen now says, "I eat to live, not live to eat." 5. Friendships are your medicine. Let me tell you about 2 patients who completely changed how I view aging. Betty and Ruth, both 75, came to me with similar health issues. Betty lived alone, rarely leaving her house. Ruth also lived alone, but had what she called her lifestyle team, a group of friends who met daily for morning walks and coffee. 1 year later, the difference in their health was remarkable. "My friends are better than any medicine you could prescribe," Ruth told me recently at 82, still meeting her walking group every morning. She's right. Research shows lonely seniors need 3 times more medical care than those with strong social connections. The good news? It's never too late to build meaningful friendships. Take Frank, who at 68 thought he was too old to make new friends after moving to a new city. He reluctantly joined a local library's chess club. Today, at 73, he not only has a weekly chess group, but also teaches beginners. "These people started as strangers playing chess," he says. "Now they're family." Here's what my most socially active patients do differently. They create routines around friendship. Clara meets her neighbors for coffee every Wednesday. Jim joined a volunteer group at his local animal shelter. Maria takes art classes at the community center. The activity almost doesn't matter. It's the regular connection that counts. But what about family? Here's a crucial tip. Maintain close family bonds without becoming dependent. My patient Dorothy has a brilliant approach. She schedules regular video calls with her children, but also makes sure to share stories about her own active life. "They worry less when they know I have my own social circle," she explains. Finding your community might feel overwhelming at first. Start small, join one group, attend one class, strike up a conversation at the park. Remember what Annie, my 79-year-old patient, always says, "Friendship is like walking. You just need to take the first step." 6. Small changes, big results. I used to think staying healthy meant making huge lifestyle changes, my patient Robert told me, chuckling. Turns out, it's the tiny things you do every day that matter most. At 79, Robert transformed his health not through dramatic changes, but through what he calls his one-minute victories. Let me share the small but powerful habits that my healthiest elderly patients swear by. These aren't difficult changes. They're simple tweaks that add years to your life. Take Patricia, who started putting her glass of water on her bedside table each night. Now, I start each day with water before my feet touch the floor, she says. This tiny habit helped her stay better hydrated, which improved her energy, reduced her headaches, and even helped her balance. Another patient, James, began what he calls his 5-5-5 routine. 5 minutes of stretching when he wakes up, 5 minutes of deep breathing at noon, and 5 minutes of gratitude before bed. These 15 minutes changed my whole day, he says at 82, still living independently and actively. The beauty of small changes is that they don't feel overwhelming. Stand up during TV commercials, put fresh fruit at eye level in your fridge, call one friend daily while making your morning coffee. As my patient Linda says, it's not about moving mountains, it's about taking small steps in the right direction. Remember, you don't need to make all these changes at once. Pick one small habit, master it, then add another. That's how lasting change happens. As Robert now says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Let me end with Gloria's story. At 75, she thought it was too late to make changes. Today, at 88, she leads a senior walking group, teaches cooking classes, and says she's living her best life. The secret, she tells everyone, is just beginning. That's my message to you today. It's never too late to start. Whether you're 65, 75, or beyond, small changes today can transform your tomorrow. Choose one habit from what we've discussed and start now. As I tell all my patients, the quality of your later years isn't written in your genes, it's written in your daily choices. If you found value in today's insights, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We share new health wisdom every week. Don't forget to tap the bell icon to join our community of active seniors living their best lives. Share this video with someone you care about and let me know in the comments which habit you're starting with. Together, we can make our golden years truly golden.